let's give an update here. I will say that I've felt a little bit unfocused with this project. There's a lot of parts, in all fairness. And, I mean, there's obviously more intricate things you could work on, but there's a good number here, and you know, they all need some attention, one kind or another. So I decided, I think subconsciously, that I was going to try to get to the guts of it here first and get that out of the way, which is kind of why I went after the arbor and this whole trunnion thing. So I have made some progress there. You can see these are wet. I just had wire wheeled them and then took them downstairs and kind of just gave them a bath, basically. They're not really greasy. I think this dark stuff in here, or rusty. I think the stuff that's rust colored really is like grease and pitch. But I'd be damned if I can really find anything that gets after it. I think the only thing I can do here, and I'm not going to do this, would be to sandblast it, and that's just unnecessary. So, anyways, I got these cleaned up finally, and I'm going to blow dry them with the compressed air, and then they'll probably have a little flash rust on them, but I'll hit them again. And I'm going to paint them black, semi-gloss. I got that paint over there. All right, and then on to the arbor. This is the arbor holder, part of the whole mechanism. I finally freed liberated all of the bearings, both of the bearings. This bottom one here was a little tough to get out. I went to AutoZone and tried to get a bearing splitter. They had the splitter, but they didn't have the rest of it that you would allow you to pull the bearing off. So I ended up borrowing the gear puller again, but it didn't work. So I kind of had to fabricate something that allowed me to kind of hold this in a particular way, and then I pounded it out with a hammer, and yeah, it got off. My bearings are hanging up here, the new ones. They just arrived today. So this is technically, I could put all that back together, but I'm not going to yet because I still have some more work. I gotta clean this off still. I gotta kind of deal with these. And then all of this here is kind of rusty parts, various amounts of rustiness, soaking in vinegar, regular white vinegar. I got a Kroger. So I've seen some YouTube videos that even after 24 hours that it does amazing things. I don't have a lot of rust on most of this, but I think I'm going to give them a little bit longer. Probably the rustiest thing that's here is this pulley off of the motor. So it's got a good bit of crap, but I feel like it's starting to work. I think it just needs to go a little bit longer. So anyway, again, in the spirit of trying to, you know, take care of the important stuff, I wanted to sort of get the arbor out, get the bearings dealt with, get these parts cleaned up. I'll paint them here, and then just this stuff can sit in the soup, and I'll get this guy cleaned up and so that it can be put back in. And then let's see what else. Other things. Let's see. I polished these up. Got the rust off of them. That worked out pretty good, as well as those. I got these cranks pretty much cleaned up. I'll probably polish them a little bit more. I bought a buffing wheel for the grinder, so we'll see how that works. Let's see. This here will be a separate little project, the fence, as will the miter cage. This is not a priority, but I will get to it eventually. And then this here, I only started on the top, and I really haven't started on much of this. I was kind of curious and took the little miter gauge thing off and cleaned it up, and there was a couple of scratches, and I just hit them with the old Odyssey paint. I figured that's better than bare metal. So I think it'll look fine once I put a little bit of clear on it. I'll probably spray some clear on that, and when I take these other little placards off, I'll spray clear on those as well. The other big important thing would be the motor, which I don't know. I don't think I'm going to take it apart like a lot of guys do. I think I'm just going to remove it from its bracket and paint it and probably call it good. I think it's fine. If there's something wrong with the motor, I'll just get another motor. But I think it'll be okay. I do need to deal with that though. So probably next things will be, you know, getting some paint on these, dealing with this stuff here, getting the arbor kind of put back together, get that whole assembly, you know, maybe reassembled, and then I'll take up the motor. This stuff here, even though it's taking up a lot of space, it can wait, right? I can push this to the side and it'll be easily dealt with. The top, not so much, right? The top of the top, it's gonna take some time, but I'll get this all painted and cleaned up. I'll probably paint this the same black as the stuff in here. So yeah, it's coming along. Little update there. Okay, minor update here. The vinegar vats are gone, and I just kind of pulled them out of that and rinsed them off in some water that I kind of mixed with baking soda, because that's what I saw on YouTube. I think the idea, I don't know if it's really necessary, I think rinsing would probably be enough, but excuse me, the idea is to neutralize the acidity from the vinegar, so I don't think it can hurt, so I did it. This was the wheel pulley, and it cleaned up pretty good. I didn't really take any pictures of how rusty it was before, but I have wire wheeled this a little bit, and yeah, it's nice. It's a nice bearing. I wish that's what I had in the arbor, or a nice pulley. Anyway, I probably want to, I think this was painted before, but I really don't remember because it was, I'm not sure because it was very rusty. But I probably want to protect it with something. I'll probably end up painting it. I don't think it'll hurt. The rest of this stuff though, yeah, cleaned up nice. This is a pin, I think that held the arbor housing on, and that has some rust on it. It's gone. So anyway, this is the arbor, and I have put one of the bearings on. And in doing so, well, it's kind of hard to get on. And I had to end up, I drilled a hole in a piece of wood and dropped this down through that with this bearing on. And then I pounded on this end. I tried to do it with a rubber mallet and it just wasn't going. So I used a hammer. And I wouldn't say I mushroomed it, but I definitely kind of bunged up the threads a little bit here on the end. I compressed them. But I think it'll be fine. I'm just going to take it over to the grinder and just kind of you can see right here, it's sandwiched together. So I'll probably just kind of grind that little bit off. Basically, just needs to have some of the end ground off and dressed up, and I think it'll be fine. It's not ruined, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, bearing feels much better. It's not going to anymore. So other than that, let's see what else. I went to Menards today, and judging from the dust on this paint can cap, I bought some old paint. Anyway, I was kind of doing some online research and was looking for a green sort of industrial hammered, and people were saying that this one was a good one. Verde green hammered. So I don't know, we really probably can't tell the color so much on the camera, but it's that kind of vintage industrially look that I like. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think that'll look really nice. And then I painted up the, put the first coat on the trunnion and all that inner guts of this thing. So that's drying in the basement. I figured it would dry quicker down there than out here. I probably will put a second coat on it as well. So that's really about it. I think the next thing, I'm tempted to tear into this, but I don't know if I want too much going on at once, and plus Kim said that she wants to go look at furniture tomorrow. So I wouldn't miss that for the world. So I probably won't do anything on this tomorrow, and then Sunday is the Super Bowl. I may, you know, end up putting another coat of paint on the guts, and then I'll probably do that tomorrow though, actually, if I have time. It shouldn't take more than a few minutes. And then if that's dried up Sunday, then I might put that back together, and then that'll be done. And then I think I'll do the fence next, just because it's a little smaller, you know, smaller kind of thing. And then I'll probably take care of this, you know, remove it from the stand and sand it where I need to, remove those, you know, those plates, the brand plates and stuff, and get it ready to paint. That bottom thing, I'm going to do black. I'm going to do that the same semi-gloss, I think, as I did the guts. And I think that'll be good. What the hell was that? All right, well, you know what that sound is. It's outside. Okay. Anyway, I'll probably do that the same semi-gloss black, and then this, of course, is going to be the green. I'm going to do that and that, and I'm going to do, I'll do this in black, but probably a satin, and then this piece here, this thing, I'm going to do in the green. I could do this all in black. I might still have to think about that. That might be kind of hokey to do this in green, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I feel about it. Alrighty. Okay, just a quick little update here. I was looking at my bandsaw for some reason and kind of noticed, or remembered, I guess, that it had a thumb wheel things that hold the belt cover on. So one was already missing down here. I think this one was already missing. It had a wing nut on there. So I just swapped out the wing nut. I mean, how often do I take these off, really? I just swapped out the wing nut. And put this on here, and it's perfect. I think this was probably the one that was designed to go on here. It's wide enough that you can get a good amount of torque on it. It's knurled, but it's not too wide that it extends over. You can't really see, but it doesn't extend over the fence, which would be bad. So yeah, perfect. And I'm sure that's probably what was on there to begin with. I know it wasn't the drawing, but I bet you that's the knurled nut that would have come with. So. Score. Okay. All right. For a little update, probably get that. I got a bunch of crap on my workbench. There's an update. Okay. Got all the pieces, parts painted up. Came out all right. It was kind of tough to get the bushings and such cleaned out. I was going to try to tape them originally, but that was a bitch, and I kind of gave up on it, so I just sort of sandpapered them, stuck the handle of this thing, you know, made a little loop of sandpaper and stuck it in there and twirled it around, so I had to do that to all of these. Yeah, so we'll see. I think it'll be okay. I'm getting ready to try, at least, to put this bloody arbor back in. This has been a little bit of a pain in the ass, this arbor business. First of all, I beat the snot out of this thing, to be honest. This end up here was all mushroomed, and I couldn't get the pulley on. So I just took it over to the grinder and kind of crudely made it round again. And then, I think I pointed this out last time, I mushed down these threads. I should have probably put the nut on there when I was beating on it, but I didn't. So again with the grinder, and that took a little while, and eventually got it. It's still not like super duper smooth and silky, but it's good enough. I wish that I had something I could actually chase these threads out with other than the nut, as in, you know, something that's hardened, but I don't. All right, so anyway, this deal here, put these spring washers in here, it sits on the ledge, whatever. this needs to get pounded in there, and trying to keep it straight is a little bit of a challenge. Would you point it at the thing? Trying to keep it straight is a little bit of a challenge, and beating on it at the same time. It's a pretty tight fit, so, you know. And then the spacer drops in, and then the other bearing, and then this thing, and then there's a nut as well. Pulley will go on, and so on and so forth. When I pulled this pulley off, pulled the pulley off the puller, I kind of bent. It's not very strong. It's just stamped steel. I kind of bent this thing a little bit. I don't even know if I could have avoided doing that. So I don't know. I might try to pound it back, I guess, because I don't think the belt's going to like that too much. Would rather not have to buy a new one of these. But anyway, all right, so I'm going to try to carefully pound this in. I feel like I need to, you know, get it straightened into something that holds this and not be like stupid about it trying to do it here on a workbench, because it's really not very easy. And I hope I don't have to pound this too hard. I'm going to try to use the little rubber hammer here. I don't have a dead blow hammer. Haven't really had a use for one, but this would be a good time for one, I'm thinking. But anyway, all right, see how this goes. Okay, well, kind of moving on to the next thing here. I've pretty much got the trunnion and all the underpinnings of the saw mechanism kind of pretty much taken care of. You know, obviously need to put all that back together. I really can't do that until the top's ready, and so I just kind of had to set it aside. But you know, I got the bearings replaced in the arbor and all of that, so and it's all painted up and ready to go, so it'll be good. So I decided the next thing I would do is look at the motor here. Looking at the data plate here, and I'm pleased to see that this is a 3/4 horsepower. So that's good. It's a bigger motor. RPM 3450, blah, blah, blah. I did plug it in, and it runs fine. And it really takes a long time to wind down. So I don't think the bearings are shot, but that's definitely not the best sound in the world. I wasn't going to take this apart. I was just going to try to paint it, clean it up, and just throw a coat of paint on it and call it good. But I feel like I ought to at least try to see if I can't oil that bearing, or at least make it quieter. Again, it turns freely. We'll have to kind of maybe see where that's coming from, and if I can just oil it, then that'll be good. So, yeah. I obviously have to rewire the cord here. It's shot. That's the switch. This is the power cord, and it's done. But I do like the length. It's really long. So yeah, I'll probably take this off and well, I mean, not yet. I might not be done testing this thing. I think I'm going to take this shaft cover off and maybe clean it up like I did this one. Just ran some sandpaper over it. It's easiest to do when this is running. Get that side cleaned up, and then I can take the wiring out, or disconnect the wiring and take some pictures of that, see how it's all put together in there. And then I hate to do it, but I think I am going to probably crack the case on this thing, clean it out at least, and try to oil the bearing, and then I'll paint it. I don't know what color yet. I was thinking of doing this inner part in the greenish blue here, and then this in black. I may still do that, or I might do it all in black. I don't know, I might work some some silver into it, I've decided. But yeah, obviously could use a little love, a little something, something. The bracket here we need painted as well. I'll probably paint that the semi-gloss that I did the insides of the saw with. That would be appropriate. But yeah, so anyway, let's get this thing taken apart a little bit. See what's going on. Okay, we've got some documenting to do. This wiring. All right, so this is the switch lead. Plugs in to that. And that is connected in two places, to two things, I guess. This is the power lead coming in. And the white of the switch lead is connected to the white of the power lead. And the black of the switch lead. All right, so this again is the switch lead here. And looks like the white is connected to the white of the power lead. And the black is back in there somewhere. I'm not sure where that goes. We'll have to look at that. And then on the power lead, the white is connected to this white of the switch lead, and the black is connected to this guy here. So I think I'm going to end up having to mark these. I'm going to have to mark this one to go to the black on the power, and I'm going to find out where this black of the switch lead is going. I'm just going to have to take this thing apart, I feel like. I don't want to do that, but I'm going to have to. So I think the first thing I'm going to do, though, is take this bracket off, and then we'll get into the wiring. Okay, quick update here. We kind of got the motor sort of taken apart, mostly, I guess. I just got the rotor, I think is what this is called, out. I was beating on it. Well, this end cap, end bell, or whatever, this side came off okay. I still haven't taken the bearing off yet. But this side here, I kept beating on the shaft, and it would not budge, not at all. And I finally looked in here, and there was a little snap ring around the groove in this shaft. So I had to go get a pair of snap ring pliers because it kind of recessed back in that hole some. So it would have been impossible without the proper tool. So I went and got that, and I also picked up from Harbor Freight a bearing separator and puller set. So I don't know if I'll ever use it again, but I've got it as a tool. So if I ever need to take a bearing off, I guess I'll have this. If I never use it, or I'm thinking that I'm never going to use it, I'll sell it. So, alrighty, so that's my update. I just got to get this dewired somehow, I guess. Maybe. We'll see. I'm not really sure how that's going to work. And then I know there's a bearing on this side, or there has to be, I would imagine. And I got to get it out. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. So we will see once I get it. Okay, just got the bearing out. This is the bearing on the wiring side, and it went in like this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to tell the difference. I don't know if there is one really once I clean this off, but just looking at it, it doesn't really seem to be a side to it, but I don't know. If I notice any markings or maybe the imprint, the numbers on one side and not the other, I'll make a note of it. All right, that's that side. I'm going to clean it up. So I don't think there's any difference one side to the other. I'll just get these numbers off of here. I need to put my glasses on and look. All right, so I'm going to set that aside, and I will take the other bearing off with my new collar. Okay. Minor updates here. I eventually made up my mind on a color for this motor. I was struggling so much with that. I'm going to do the end bells black, semi-gloss. Just because I have more of that than anything else. And probably this guy here is semi-gloss black too. Just want to match the inside of the saw. Not that you guys see that, but which also means that I'll probably end up doing around the sides of this in the semi-gloss black too, I guess. Damn near the whole thing, but I don't know about the base, the stand, I mean, and I don't know about the fence. I think I'll just do this in a satin, I guess. And then this, I don't know. We'll figure that out. But anyway, I'm picking at the motor here, and clean it up some. And this, I wish this nameplate looked better, but it really doesn't. I might just kind of try to, I don't know what. I don't think I can really do anything. I mean, I'll tape over it. I'm not going to paint over it, I don't think. I want this information on here. But it's never really going to look great, but that's all right. I might just try to clean it up a little bit and shine it up. Who knows? So, all right. Anyway, alrighty. A little update here. Finally started on painting the motor with the green. It really isn't showing up good in this camera phone, but I think it's going to look great. Painting the bottom first. I'm trying to do 2 coats on this. I usually have to with hammered paint. I know that really from painting the registers. So, yeah. It looks good. I think it's going to be a nice color. And then I'm going to do that, and with the black end bells, I think it'll be good. And then, this part here will be that color. And so, I've kind of just been working on little twiddly pieces, cleaning that up, cleaning some bolts and screws, derusting or finishing that derusting. Had these are for the motor. Had these in vinegar, and I don't know if they were really that rusty, but it gets the rust. But I still wire wheeled them, I sanded them, so that and all of these nuts and bolts, and washers and such. Not everything in there, but most of it. So, yeah, moving along. Trying to get quite a bit done today if I can. I'm sort of getting project weary. I want to get it done. This again will be the big challenge. So I thought the next thing I might try to do is the fence. I'm really going to have to start labeling everything, though, carefully, because I've got a lot of parts over here in bags. Some of it's labeled, but really, all of this in here, I think I know what most of it goes to, but again, a lot of the little screws, the bolts and whatever, I don't really know what they're for, especially. In this bag here I was looking at, and I know where that goes, but this washer, I have no freaking idea. So that could be interesting, especially since there could be tolerances in that motor that I'll need to adhere to. Yeah, I got a washer and a nut here. I have no fucking clue what that goes to. So I gotta stop doing that. Anyway, so the next thing to take apart is this, and this would be the next thing that I really, I need to be careful, right? Because this would not be cheap to replace. So if I lose a part off of it and render it useless, I'm in for big money, if I can even find one in short order. So I'm going to be careful with this and take it apart and label everything and take pictures and the whole 9 yards. So, all right. Anyway, that's the update. I guess I could show the end bells. They're done. Here's those. Oh, I got the last coat of paint on that engine mount, leather mount. There's those. They look good. 2 coats. I got some runs on it, but I'm not gonna worry about it. It'll be fine. Just a motor thing. I think the reason that happens is because number 1, I'm putting a lot of paint on them, and number 2, they're cold when I do it, and that's really not the best conditions. So this here I let warm up, before I sprayed it out there, and then I brought it in as soon as I could, so they don't have runs on it. This is the capacitor cover. It's got a few runs on it, but I don't care. I'm not building a watch here. Okay, it's a saw. It'll look nice. It'll look good enough. I really need to make sure it works. All right, so that's your update. Alrighty. It's getting real here. I have constructed my first and probably only electrolysis rust removal tank out of 2x10s, and some kind of heavier plastic sheeting, and 8 rebar, 1-foot rebar rods, and some wire, and I've got two of my 3 saw table sections in here. The other one I'm kind of holding out. I don't know how quickly this is going to work, but I can't really fit all 3 of them in here. I mean, maybe I could, but I'm going to just do 2 and see how it goes. This is probably quite a bit of material to try to de-rust, maybe? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I saw this on the internet, and I've been wondering how I was going to deal with this top. It's not terribly rusty, honestly. I think probably most people would just get the orbital sander out and have at it. And I could probably do that, but you know what? I'm given to experimentation sometimes, so this is what I'm going to try. So I've got a 5-gallon bucket here that I'll be adding water and some of this washing soda, which is sodium carbonate, and that will turn the water into a conductive electrolyte solution. And the idea here is that you take a power source. In this case, I'm going to use my car battery as the primary power source, and you run, first of all, you fill this up with water, your electrolyte solution. I don't know how much I should fill it up, but I'll probably fill it pretty close to the top, I guess. And then you've got positive, which I haven't attached to the battery yet. It goes to your anodes. That's what these rods are. They're going to attract the rust, and then your workpiece gets hooked to the negative on the battery once that's all filled up with the electrolyte. And it causes an electrochemical reaction, basically, that causes the rust to dislodge itself pretty much from the metal. And this should come out pretty clean, to be honest. This is not really pitted. That's why I say I could probably have just used, palm sander. But, I feel like the palm sander, you kind of run a risk maybe of bringing the table out of level if you're too aggressive. Not like super critical for me, but I thought, well, what the hell, I'll try this. Maybe have to do just a minimal amount of sanding. Kid's gonna walk in. And then connected to the battery will be my battery charger to basically kind of keep this charged and supplying voltage to the tank. So I'm going to do this, start it up in the morning, and it's supposed to, I wasn't going to do this for a while. Really, I wasn't sure when I was going to do it, and then I saw that it was supposed to get up in the 60s this week. So it's pretty warm now. It's probably mid to upper 50s right now. And so that'll be perfect because you really need to do this with some ventilation. So I can leave this door open tomorrow or half open or whatever. And if when I wanted to, I could blow a fan across it because it does produce hydrogen gas. Oh, probably not a lot, but who wants to take the risk, right? So anyway, we'll see how this goes. See if maybe I'll make a video in the morning once I get it set up. Okay, it has begun.
electrolyte solution in there, and it's already starting to bubble a little bit. Hooked up to a battery, power supply. I have no idea how many amps of current we're drawing, but hopefully it won't burn. So I'm going to plug in the battery charger, and I'll just let this go. I might try to stay out here for my first meeting and monitor this, just to be safe. But yeah, I think it should go okay. I don't know if this is going to take a long time, but we'll see. Can't see it there. I'll draw the film in, but you can see the bubbles. So, doing something. Okay. Check in a little bit. See the bubbles? It means it's working. I'm de-rusting my saw tabletop. There's something called electrolysis. So we'll see how it goes. All right. Well, kind of the other night started to see how this was going to turn out. One of the end pieces that I had de-roasted, and it's, if you look at the other one, flip this over. Well, really, I've got to take off for another reason, but it's not rusty, but it's got a lot of black staining on it. And so did this other one. So I kind of hit it with my angle grinder with one of those 3-in-1 or 3M pads on it, which I probably have to get some more of these. And that seemed to do a really good job on the heavy staining. I don't want to do too much of that, but, and then after I was done with that, I went over it with some, I think maybe 120 grit sandpaper, and then 150. And I didn't work on it a ton. And then I cleaned it off with some brake clean, right? And actually, somewhere in here, I don't remember where, I also kind of used some metal polish on it, just for giggles. But yeah, I think it's coming out pretty good. I'm sure it doesn't look like the day it came out of the factory, but, and this camera's really not doing a lot of justice, but, you know, if I can get it looking close to this good, overall, I really can't complain. And then I have been prepping and painting the sides and the bottom. The electrolysis, you know, I don't think it removes paint necessarily, but if there's rust under the paint, it will dislodge it from the metal, and that's going to take the paint along with it. So I think there was a fair bit of rust along the sides of this, not so much on the bottom, on the sides, and maybe this outer edge here. And so I had to wire wheel that, and all that came off very easily. So it just kind of flaked off. So yeah, now I'm just kind of repainting. I sprayed the outside 2 coats with primer, and I am going to brush the top, sorry, the inner part. And I've already done the main part of the top here. So I think that'll be well protected. Oops, didn't get that one real good. So yeah, it's coming out, making some progress. So check in with you later. Okay, we have started to reassemble here. Maybe. We'll see. I decided that it was kind of getting to be time. I could probably get away with it once I got the underside of the table painted up. that I could go ahead and put things back together. This has been done for a while, and you know, it's a lot easier here when it's laying upside down to see things than going up from underneath. I'm not done with the base yet, but another coat and I'll be done with that. And I thought, well, let's start putting it back together. And then I think, you know, once I get this mounted back on and I get the base done, then I can remount this to the base and then just work on the top proper, the top of the top. Finish that out and then mount the motor on and be ready to try it. But anyways, I'm putting lithium grease on these gears. I'm sure it'll get gunky, but I really don't know what else to do. You have to lubricate it somehow. And so yeah, I've got the raise and lower spindle in here. It was hard to get that roll pin in. I think that other one's going to be even tougher maybe. I don't know though, it's on top. Now it's on top. Before it was underneath. So yeah, that might not be too bad. But yeah, get that all put together, get that shaft put in here on the side, and see if we can't get this thing cranking. All right. Oh, I'll just show real quick the badges on the front. I ended up not using rivets on the big one, but I used them on the small one. I just used some shiny pop rivets. You probably can't even see it. Wait, it's up here. Shiny pop rivets, and then some screws, and then I got some screws here on the back. These holes were bigger on this plate, so oh well. I mean, it still looks nice. Anyway, check in later. Okay. I think this will probably be the last video entry on the saw. I haven't made one in a while, just because I've been just trying to get it done. And it's certainly back together. I wouldn't say that I've got it all as I wanted exactly. I'm sure for example, I can already tell that I need to adjust the blade. It pivots this way, either way, with the trunnions. I need to get that trued up. We true it up to the miter gauge slots. There's really precise ways of doing it, and then there's like every man's ways. I'll probably be doing every man's ways. Anyway, I can either tell that needs adjusting, which it probably does, or this fence might be a little out of square. I did just finish a couple of test cuts on it, and it cut fine, but I could feel it grabbing a little bit, which is why I think the blade is the keel of the blade is maybe a little off. I don't know what you call that adjustment. But anyway, yeah, it turned out really nice. It looks nice at least, and generally speaking, seemed to operate pretty good. I just bought a new belt for it, so we're good to go. I had it up at AutoZone. Just had to find one that was the same size, no problem. We'll turn it on here real quick. The switch mounted here. This switch was mounted sideways before, and I just felt that this is better. It's more, that way you can better tell whether it's on or not when you go to plug it in. Anyway, here we go. So yeah, it stops pretty quick, which I like. I think it's about the way it was before. So yeah, everything turned out good. I've got some little feet here, adjustable, which it's still rocking a little bit, so I need to get that trued up. It could be that one down there. I see it's loose. I got to get all that trued up, and then like I say, adjust the blade a little bit, and I think I'm done. I'm gonna start using it. Now the next thing I'll have to do then, I think I already talked about this, but I want to move those over to here, and then put this where that saw is,
and then keep the table saw over here where those are. And to do that, I'm going to have to put in a drop here, get a junction box, and go ahead and get that drop put in. And I'll have some plugs there that we can use those for over here, and then I'll probably, depending upon whether or not I leave the grinder over there, I'll have to kind of measure that first. If I leave the grinder over there, which I guess would be my reference maybe, I don't know, then I might switch that, or I might leave that 4 outlet thing over there. And I probably will do that anyway. And you might just have a 2-banger over here. It depends on whether I have the grinder over there or not. Might just do 4 and 4, I don't know, we'll see. Whatever tickles my fancy. And then that'll be that. And I can do something with this. I thought about maybe saving it for Nick, but it really does need a new fence. But you know, it could be good enough just for occasional usage for him. I guess so I'm not quite done. I still have to do the miter thing, but I so rarely use that, it's not a priority for me, so I'll get to that when I get to it, I guess. Otherwise, yeah, it's ready to go. Looks good. Final adjustments done, and all this one done, so nice little quick look here. Well, compared to where it was, it looks 100% different. I guess I wish this label was a little nicer, but it is what it is. The top, I guess I already talked about the top. The top came out pretty good. I haven't put any wax on it yet. I probably still do that. But already I can tell that it just feels more steady and sure when you're cutting something on it. You know, that cast iron top makes a huge difference. Anyway, it's been fun, and I'm glad that this one is